Hello everybody, Raven Knight here, and welcome to a For Honor Year 7 Season 2 Warriors Den recap update summary video. Now, those of you who do not know, you should know by now, that the Warriors Den for the next season of For Honor has been released, and we get to see what's coming this next season. I gotta say, guys, I'm very excited. There's a lot of really cool stuff to see coming, and I really enjoyed sitting down on the Warriors Den, and for all of you who came to watch it with me, thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time with the majority of you. Y'all really seemed as excited as I was. There's just so much to really enjoy about this, but some of you obviously either missed the stream or couldn't catch it or came in late. So for those of you who aren't quite sure what's going on, thank you for joining me today. What we're going to do in this video is I'm basically going to break down all that was said in a summarized way so that you all kind of know what's coming in the next season. Just to start us off, to go ahead and state the obvious, the next season is very Aztec themed. We're dealing with heavy Aztec imagery and symbolism and style and aesthetic. It looks really, really cool. And let me be clear, guys, I make no exaggeration when I say this. The aesthetic is insanely good. Some of the cosmetics are going to look great. The Battle Pass art looks great. The new effects and signatures that I've seen kind of look good. But the music above all is baller. This is some of the best music we've heard in a while. Say what you want about For Honor. Their music is always top notch, and this was no exception. I absolutely love it. You should be listening to it in the background. But guys, it's just so good. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. But before we get into all the stuff you're going to see, let's talk about what the schedule looks like, what the roadmap basically looks like for Honor for this coming season. So starting on June 15th, that is next week from the release of this video, we will be getting the new season, a brand new Battle Pass for the season, new onboarding flow, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the new Warmonger hero skin, Conquistador Vela. Let me talk a little bit about Conquistador Vela. She looks really cool. This is one of the best looking hero skins we've seen. It's right up there with Maiko and with Ravier. It just looks so cool. The armor just pops. It looks fantastic. A really cool combination of kind of the German Landsknecht vibe and the Spanish Conquistador look. Looks very, very awesome. They're going to be releasing lore for this character as they've done in the past. And me, you know how I am with writing and lore, okay? You know I'm going to release some videos about that. I'll release one where I read the lore in its entirety, and then another where I break down my thoughts on it and tell you guys what I think. So look forward to me talking about Conquistador Vela. Going to be really, really cool. And somebody pointed this out in chat during the stream, and I agree. It should be Conquistadora Vela because Conquistador is masculine, whereas Conquistadora would be female. So just saying, just a little point there. All right, moving on. On June 29th to July 6th, we will be getting the testing grounds for Lawbringer and Bash changes. That is a testing ground for Lawbringer and Bash changes. We will talk about all those in just a minute. On July 6th, 13th, and 20th, we will be having a Hero Fest on each of those, and if I remember right, one of them is going to be Warlord, and another is going to be Valkyrie. I don't remember who the third one was. I'm sure someone will let me know, but look forward to those as they're coming out. On July 13th through July 20th, we will be getting the Jormungandr event. We'll be getting the Wrath of the Jormungandr event, you know, that really cool breach mode where the giant Jormungandr snake pops up and gives you the Hammer of Asgard. It's one of the most popular breach modes that we've had. It's coming back for a week, so make sure you log on for that. And then on July 27th will be the release of the new hero, the long-expected Aztec hero. I don't want to go any further than that just yet because that's in Title 2 update, and I want to get to that point first. So be patient with us, guys. We'll get to that. But I wanted to let you know, for those of you who don't know, the new hero will not come out until the middle of the season, so July 27th. Now, some of you have said very openly you don't like that. You don't like the fact that the hero comes out so much later in the season, and I understand that. And in fact, I kind of agree with you. I wish the hero came out sooner, but I don't mind it too much. It's something that I'm kind of coming to expect. We get the hero skin first, and then we get the new hero. I'm kind of used to that, but if that's something you don't like, I completely understand. All right, now, let's move on from the schedule and talk about the lore for this season. For those of you who follow me on Discord, I already made a prediction about the lore, and I hate to say it, but I was 100% right. I was bang on the money with this lore. I knew it was coming. I was totally prepared for it, and I hate that I was right. This lore is hot garbage. And let me be clear, I love For Honor, but I'm going to be honest, this lore is crap. In fact, what I love is in the stream, the writer for the game said that this was their best lore yet.
The lore is just the best we've ever done.
No, the best that has ever been.
Come on, son.
And I laughed at that. I could not help myself but laugh at that. It was terrible lore. Want to know why it's terrible? Here's the setup. Ready for this? Okay. Astria, wanting to continue her finances for Horkos, finds out about this empire of gold across the sea. So she sends her conquistador Vela, her conquistador warmonger, off across the sea to find this empire. She finds it and comes back with a bunch of gold and a prisoner. And she comes back with so much gold they're practically rolling in it. It's everywhere. They're Scrooge McDucking it all over the place. And they've got their prisoner hanging in a cage, and they're just so happy, but something's wrong. The sky is darker, it's stormy, there's all kinds of weirdness going on. They don't know what's going on. It's very scary. Oh man, it's, for those of you who can't tell, this is just the Medjai season and the Ravier season all over again. I'm calling it the For Honor formula. Have it where Heathmoor warrior goes to other culture and discovers something there that they want to steal or destroy, proceeds to steal or destroy it and return to Heathmoor victorious, but they ended up pissing off the other culture in the process, and now that culture is going to reap their revenge on Heathmoor for what they did. We saw it with Bolthorn stealing the Scarab Bracelet, and that brought the Medjai. We saw it with Ravier destroying the Celestial Sphere, and that brought the Aphira. And now we have it where Conquistador Vela has done that in the Aztec lands, and that brought the Jaguars. Come on, like, this is repetitive. If you want to just repeat your lore over and over again, whatever. But don't sit here and tell me it's your best lore ever. This is repetitive. It's ridiculous. There were so many better ways to do this, and I will release a video later where I talk about the better ways you could have handled this lore, why you don't need to repeat this over and over again, and why I'm just like, come on, Ubisoft, you got to be better than this. But let's move on from that, because I know a lot of y'all don't really care about the lore. Let's talk about the other very important stuff. The new onboard flowing. Now, some of y'all are wondering what that is. Essentially what it is they basically improved the tutorial and training UI to help new players get introduced to the game. One of the problems that they had was, for new players who come to the game, they have a hard time getting used to it because they'll play through the campaign, but because the campaign hasn't been updated to the modern game style, they get a little bit of whiplash. So they go to the tutorials, but the tutorials can be very difficult, hard to grind through, difficult to complete. So they wanted to change it up so it's a little bit more accessible, a little bit easier to follow, and help them become more used to the game and the play style and all that kind of fun stuff. So they're basically updating tutorial mode so that the game becomes a bit more accessible and easy to learn. I really like that. I think it's a good change. I think that's something that we needed to do, and I appreciate the development team for taking the time to do that. If there's one thing that this game really needs more than anything, it is user accessibility. I feel like we need more people who are new to the game to get a feel for it and understand it faster. Like, it's very difficult for me to find people who are interested enough in the game to get through the tutorial and continue it. I want it to be fun. I want it to be engaging for them. So this is only going to help the game. I feel like this was a very good addition. Now, as for the patch notes, there are some minor improvements coming to characters like Nusya, Warden, Jormungandr, and Aramusho to improve their viability. Nusya got some changes in terms of the speed of her trap attacks. The trap attack speeds are going to be a little slower than normal, but faster to implement. And the reason they did this is because what's happening is a lot of people just know how to time the trap attacks to the point that it's like, oh, we already know when it's going to land, so we know how to time it. This way, it's a little bit more tricky. It's a little bit harder for them to time properly, so that it's almost unreactable at that point. So that means it'll be a little bit easier to land. Warden is getting some speed changes to his dodge shoulder bash, which will make it a little bit easier to implement, and also they're changing the timing of his heavy finishers as well as the trajectory of his heavy finishers. It's not all I wanted for Warden. I wanted more for him, but this is a step in the right direction. Jormungandr is now able to do a chain zone attack even when unlocked, which will help in minion lane, so that's fine. And Aramusha is getting some stamina changes to his Blade Blockade, which will make it a little bit less punishing to use his Blade Blockade defensive ability. So all of that I think is good. These are good patch notes. Nothing major, nothing huge. They're not changing a whole lot. But these are the live changes that will be coming with the new season on June 16th. Sorry, June 15th. I apologize. Now, on the TG, the testing grounds, let's talk about that. The first thing that they talk about was the bash timings. All the characters who can do forward dodge bashes are getting some changes to their timing to make them a little faster. The reason they're doing this is because they've noticed that a lot of high reaction players are capable of looking for minute changes in animation to know exactly when to dodge. that is very difficult for casual players to get their openings in, because if you're a Centurion or a Warden who needs that bash to open up an enemy, that can be difficult for you to deal with. So how they're changing it is they're making it so that the bashes come out a little bit faster so that they're not as easily reacted to. I think that's a good idea, but it does come with a caveat. This will be nightmare for casual players who are not good at reacting, because it's just going to be constant bash, 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 bash. So what I think needs to happen is do what the testing grounds are meant to do. Go into the testing grounds, play it out, see how you feel, and give your honest reactions. I think what they're doing is right. How they're doing it may not be right. So I want y'all to hit the testing grounds and tell them about what you think. And as I've always said, I'll say this again, and I've always said it, I want to make this clear. I'm not an expert in terms of timing or balancing or stuff like that. I am not the expert on that. If you want that, you can go to people like Freeze or John DeLiner or Slanderous or anyone else who understands this kind of stuff better than I do. For me, I'm more of a casual player. It's what I'm good at. I'm just giving you my thoughts on that. Now, as for Lawbringer's changes, I think a lot of people were confused about this. They thought that the changes that they announced for Lawbringer were on the live Lawbringer. They are not. The changes imposed for Lawbringer in this testing grounds are on the previous testing ground Lawbringer. And if you remember, the previous testing ground Lawbringer, everyone was like, he's way too powerful. He is way too strong. We need this fixed. So they're fixing it. Some of the changes are in the animation for the new bash, which I think actually looks okay. I don't dislike it. They've changed it also where if you get a successful parry on a heavy, it does not guarantee an impale. You can block it. An enemy can block it, but only if it's a successful parry on a heavy. For parry lights, the impale is guaranteed. So that's the biggest change there. They also had I think the funniest part of the stream for me was after they showed that, they had an Ubisoft moment, proving that even Ubisoft is not immune from an Ubisoft moment, where their stream disconnected briefly and they couldn't show the rest of Lawbringer's changes. They had to talk about it. Other than that, you'll have to go see the notes that they're making for the testing ground overall, but what it sounds like to me is basically they've altered it just enough that Lawbringer, he's being nerfed enough from his previous testing grounds that he'll still be okay. Like, for example, they've taken away the hyper armor on his heavy finishers, but they've kept the potential for continuous heavy finishers off of the combo and off of the chain. So, again, check it out for yourselves. I'm not the person to talk to about that, but me personally, I'm interested to see where it goes. But JC made it very clear in his video. I think y'all need to take it into account. Any kind of feedback is good, negative or positive, as long as it's constructive. They need to know what to fix so that they know how to fix it. If you don't give them good feedback, they can't possibly know where to go. All feedback is helpful. Just don't sit there and insult them because it doesn't make anything happen, you know. Give negative feedback, give positive feedback, but when the testing grounds come out, please give that feedback so that they know what to do. But that's about all that they really announced. There's a lot of stuff coming. There's going to be some new emotes, some new executions, some new cosmetics, outfits, battle pass wise. And the battle pass, guys, let me say, this is one of the first times I can actually say that all the weapons, almost all the weapons in the new battle pass look cash money. They look really, really good. I really hope that you guys get the battle pass because I know I'm going to get it. This looks absolutely phenomenal. Some of these just look so fitting. Definitely go for that. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for those of you who watched the stream, and I hope this video was informative to those of you who did not catch it. Let me know down in the comment section how excited you are for this season. I'm very excited. It looks very fun. I definitely like the changes that they've made to the overall map at the Spire, or whatever they call it now. I forget now. I'm not good with names, unfortunately. But very excited for what they're going to be doing. The new hero, I'm looking forward to that mid-season. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.
Wealth collected in blood. Behold and celebrate those who would monger war. So falls decency, a prize for all to see. Eagle hearts take flight, blood runs at first light.